Namaskar, welcome you all in this educational video of NIOS. This is subject home science. This is sign of home science. Code number for this subject is 321. This video is for senior secondary level. We are doing lesson number 2 and name of the lesson is available on screen. It is ethics. This is the sign of ethics. Ethics in daily life. This is sign of daily life. In this lesson, we will be studying some points about good or bad, or we can also call them right or wrong ethics. Let us begin the lesson. We will begin our lesson with the glossary. In this, we have chosen words from the lesson number 2. So these are all new words. After learning all these lessons, we will begin our lesson. This word is ethics. Sometimes we have to decide something is wrong, something is right. Then we follow ethics. For example, if we have to do any work, there are some rules sometimes, so we need to follow those rules. Like we keep our surroundings clean, we do our work on time, to get late is not correct. So accordingly we have some things which are right and correct and some things which are not correct. So for all those correct and incorrect things, we use the word ethics in together. This word is punctuality. Punctuality means to do something on time. For example, when we have to go to school and if we have to reach school at 8 o'clock, then it is better we do our work on time and reach on time. So for all the work we do on time, we use punctuality. This word is loyalty. Loyalty means to be honest with the person we are dealing with, and the person has faith on us. Opposite of loyalty can be considered as cheat. So any honest work we do can be considered as loyalty. This word is willing. Willing means something you are able to do and you are showing interest in doing it, and not being lazy and not being adamant that I will not do. It is the opposite, that you have interest in doing it. This word is disregard. For example, when we ignore the other person, for that can be used this word disregard. Disloyal. As we have already understood the word loyalty, so it is a kind of opposite of that word. Disloyal means some person having two faces. Disorganized. Disorganized is the opposite of organized work. Something which is correct, appropriate, according to the sequence, but this word is the opposite. Means something which is not organized, something which is mismanaged. So all unorganized work. For example, in office, we generally keep our files in a proper way, and we can keep our record and maintain our record with the given time. But if something is given to us and we procrastinate and we do not consider that work very important, and just before the time we start preparing, so that can lead to the disorganized, structured, unstructured work. This word is courteous. If any person is helpful to the other person, that means the person is courteous, is helpful. So for all such behavior, we use this word courteous. This word is chows. This is something which is just jumbled up. For example, if we have to go to any program and everything is not appropriate, everything is late, the people who are going to perform, they are not ready on time, and there is so much crowd. So all such examples are used for chows. Procedure. Procedure is the sequence of any work in a stepwise order. So following some procedure in a proper manner is important. So it has the sequence, like first we do this, then after that we should do the next step, and after following the next step we have something next to do. So similarly, there is a process, one by one we keep on doing. Strictly. To be strict and telling the other person to do something. For that we use this word. Like if some person is getting late every day, then the boss scolds that person and orders him or her to be on time. Uniformly. Uniformly means a person wearing similar kind of dress. This is the one word, but beside that there are some other meaning. There is some similarity in the things, in the sequence, in the group. So for that we use the word uniformly. This word is corruption. Corruption, we say that if a person tries to attract the other person to get more services in an easy way, by giving some money or by giving some gifts or anything which is not according to the law or appropriate, so that is known as corruption. Integrate. Integrate means to put them all together. Cordial. Cordial means something which is sweet, full of sweet behavior. This word is passers-by. Passers-by are all those people who are in our surrounding. A person who is walking on the road, beside a shop. So all those people are known as passers-by. So anyone moving outside the building, anyone walking on the road, they are all the passers-by. This word is confidentiality. Means to keep secret. If some thing is of importance that it should be kept secret for a few time and should not be told to everyone or any other member. That is known as confidentiality. It is something which is secret. So we have understood the difficult words from the lesson. Now let us see the objectives of this video. The first objective is, after watching this video, we will be able to define the term ethics, and also we will be able to explain the need of ethics in daily life, at work and also at home. So this lesson is about ethics. The next objective is we will be able to describe some ethical problems which we encounter in our life. And the next objective is we will be able to list some of the factors that raise the ethical standards in life. After following these ethical standards, we can upgrade our life. And the last objective is we will be able to develop the code of ethics for a good living. So all these points we will be able to discuss and understand. Now let us begin with the topic, what are ethics? You can see the points. So the first point explains ethics as a sincerity and honesty. It means something we do with our heart, dedicatedly. If you have said something and you have promised that you will do something, then you need to follow that honestly. So that is considered as sincerity. Any work you do at home or at the workplace, at school, college level, at any place you do, we follow this rule, sincerity. The second point is truthfulness. Truthfulness means something we do dedicatedly. So we should not tell a lie when we are doing some work officially or in a school. The third point explains that we should respect everyone and also self. Whenever we are doing any work and we are working in a team, because in office we generally have people working with us, some are above us, some are below us, but we should respect all of them. We should never mock them. So respecting self and respecting others, both are important. This is also one of the important points which comes under ethics. The fourth point explains that we should respect the time. Many times you may have observed that in the morning when you do breakfast and lunch time in the noon, lunch we do in the noon time, and then evening we have evening tea. So whatever we do all that in time. Breakfast on time, lunch on time, evening tea. So accordingly, we need to do all the work at a proper time. Another example is when we go to any wedding in any family, then everything is scheduled. So if time is scheduled and followed properly, then everything gets organized automatically and the work gets completed on time. So respect for time is an important point which we should keep in mind. The fifth point is we should also respect our work. And if we are working in a team, we should share our views with the team members. It should not be that we work in a separate or just doing self, that the other person doesn't know that thing or doesn't know the rules of doing that thing. So we should work in a team. The sixth point explains that we should respect our environment. For example, in environment there is water, sun, air, so many things around us, and all these things are natural. So we should respect all these natural things. Why? Let me explain you. Because all these things are natural things and we should keep them safe and clean. If we ourselves try to make them dirty, we pollute the things, then it will pollute our own environment, because it is our environment. We are connected to this environment. So we should respect our environment, then environment will give us good health. So it is a kind of give and take things. So all these points are very important and we should follow them. Let us have a break here.
करने राहों को आलोकित करने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, मित्रों हम उठे और जागे, मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बाटे।
कोई मन चाहा दिन चुने हम अपना जीवन स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा दिन चुने
These are some ethical behavior, or you can say habits, which is needed at workplace. It can be school, home, or any workplace. So these are very important for all of us to follow. The first important point explains about the regularity and punctuality. If we are doing something irregularly on time, then we can say that we are doing work on time and we are being punctual. If we have to reach office just at 9 o'clock, then we should be there on time, or we should try to be there before time. So that way we can be punctual and we can be regular. The second point explains about the confidentiality. It means to keep secret of something. If we are doing or we are working on a project, or we have something in our mind, we are working on a particular plan. For example, any scientific formula which is very new and it can work miracle for the society. So we should be confidential. We should follow the rules. We should not tell that to the other people, because if we leak the secret, then it may lead to loss. So this is also very important behavior, that we should be confidential. The third point explains about the loyalty. Being loyal is also very important. So if we have any doubt, we can ask the other team member for clarifying any doubt. And whatever work we are doing, we should do that work honestly. The fourth point tells that if we are working in a team and there are some other members, then we should maintain the cordial relationship with the colleagues and all those clients who are working with us. We should not tell them, or we should not talk to them in an inappropriate way, or we should not scold them that they feel sorry or they feel neglected or insulted. We should behave in a friendly manner. That is very important if we are working in a team. Fifth point explains that there should be willingness to learn and we should take a new responsibility. This is also one of the very important ethical behavior. Like there are nowadays, every year or after a few years there is some upgradation in the software. Then we should not be just adamant that we will not upgrade our knowledge. We already have enough knowledge. It should not be the behavior. Now let us understand the need for ethics. We will discuss this in points. Let us continue. Any work situation has three components. The first component is the work. It can be any work in general. When we are working on a computer, we are teaching, we are cooking, we are doing any service work, we are providing services, we are doing video, any kind of work comes under this category. This is the first component, the actual task which is to be done. The second point which comes under this work situation is the worker. It is the person who is doing the work, the service provider, the person who is fixing the problem. Because we all are doing some work at some point of time. So, the second component is the worker, and the third component is the workplace. It is the place for doing the task and all the tools and equipments which are required, and there is also a space to store all these tools and things or resources. So the workplace is the third important component. So all these three components are generally everywhere, in school, in college, at workplace. So these three are the components of any work situation. We have to remember all these because we are going to discuss them and understand them. We have already understood about the ethics and the three components of ethics. Now, we are talking about the common ethical problems at workplace where workers are. So the first problem is sometime when people are irregular and they lack punctuality, they are not on time. Then this is the common ethical problem we see in our surrounding. The second most common ethical problem is sometimes workers are rude and impolite. They don't talk in a proper way, in an appropriate or sweet way. And the third common ethical problem which is generally seen is people or workers, they have inadequate knowledge and skills. The fourth common ethical problem is workers waste resources. All the resources which we need to use or utilize, sometimes they get wasted. The fifth common ethical problem is there is a disregard of rules and regulation. The sixth common ethical problem is we disrespect the task which is at hand. And the seventh point is people or some workers are disloyal. Now we will discuss all these 7 points in detail. The first point we just seen explains the topic as irregular and lack punctuality. The first point under this topic explains that whenever we have disorganized homes, then the work gets irregular, or we say that it is not done on time. We may miss something. For example, the children who are to reach school on time, they may miss their bus, and later on, if one thing is missed, then the second thing and the third thing, it also keeps on missing. So we need to prepare beforehand to be on time. We should prepare our work so that our next day's work gets done on time. For morning, we should prepare our basic requirements at night. So that way we can be on time regularly. The second point under this category explains about the public inconveniences in office, thus lowering the image of the organization in bank, electricity, etc. So there are many workplaces which are public workplaces, and we know that at those places we have some facilities given, and if our work there is not done on time, then also the next and the further work gets delayed, because all that work is connected. Because in office or in workplace, we never work alone, we work in a team. And the third example is, we should also be disciplined. To be regular and to be punctual, we should follow the discipline. We should not spoil the discipline of the workplace. Because if one person is being late every day, then it may happen that other persons also starts following the person who is latecomer. So this way it spoils the discipline of the workplace. And the fourth point explains that all such habits sometimes adversely affect the career prospects of the person. So these are all the important points we should keep in mind. The second point, which is the topic here, it explains the rude and impolite behavior. At home, you all must have experienced that sometime the peace is destroyed at home because of some rude or impolite behavior. So we should be careful in office and also at home. We should not just speak anything. We should be careful about the words we are speaking. We should not bully anyone. The second point explains that being impolite and being rude causes embarrassment to the organization. The third point tells that if the person is rude and person is not polite, then it may lead to the unpopularity. And it may happen that people working with you, they may start being away from you. And the fourth point explains that being rude and showing impolite behavior, it adversely affects the career prospects of the person. So all these points, which are very important, we should keep them in mind. The third point explains that having inadequate knowledge and skill is also not good. It may lead to heavy loss to machine and tools, because sometimes there are some software or some hardware machines which are new, or by mistake we may do something which is loss to the environment or loss to our team. For all the tools which are new, which are heavy machinery, we should be careful while handling them, while using them. Any wrong button, if pressed, that can lead to the danger. And also sometimes it can lead to the serious mishappening, because we being human, we can stop ourselves, but machine, if given a command, then machine will not be stopped. So it can lead to serious mishaps. The fourth point explains that if the person is having inadequate knowledge and is not skilled, then it can happen that there are no promotions and rewards in person's life. Because if the person is doing well, is trying or upgrading the self, that can give the growth to the person. So all these points are very important to be kept in mind. Fourth point explains, the topic is waste resources. The first point which comes under it is waste resources are due to the improper storages. Due to improper storage, the resources are wasted. The second point explains that raw ingredients get spoiled and have to be thrown. So this is also one of the important point which comes under waste resources. The third point explains that some people take large servings on their plates and they leave all that food uneaten when they are not able to eat it. So all that food get wasted. The fourth point explains that making unplanned and frequent trips to the market without preparing a shopping list leads to the wastage of your time and energy, and also fuel if you have to go there by the vehicle. So the important thing is we should make plan what we have to get, how we have to get, and from where we will get that thing. So we should keep this in mind. The fifth point explains that if we disregard rules and regulations, then that is also an issue. The first point which comes under this topic is chaos and confusion. If the things are not clear and there is confusion in our mind, then there is a possibility that we do not follow the rules and regulation in a proper way, and it may seem to the other person that we are disregarding and not following the rules. The second point explains that it disturbs the harmony at home and at workplace. So any work we are doing, whether at home or at our workplace, we should follow the rules. The third point explains that employing children in hazardous industry is also not beneficial for the children and for the society as well. And also in our society there are rules that children should not work in any society. The fourth point, which comes under disregard rules and regulation, is it explains that there are adverse effects on career advancement. Sixth point explains that there is disrespect for the task at hand. This is also the negative behavior, you can say, not accepted by the general people if we are working in a team. In our society, it is very common practice to consider some job respectable and some other jobs which are less respectable. So we should respect all the work which is in our hand. And for all those workers who are working with us and who are doing a kind of, other kind of jobs which are services to the senior team member, those jobs should also be considered as respectable jobs. Like a wife's contribution, which is she is housewife at home, her contribution to the successful running of a home is not generally given due respect by her family and the society in general. So all the society people should keep in mind and should respect the women's, their work, and also do that work in a respectable manner. So we should also respect our family members and mothers, wives at home. The third point explains a man selling drinking water on the roadside should feel proud of doing so. And similarly, the passerby must not feel that supplying drinking water is a low profile job. So we should give equal respect to all of them. Seventh point explains about the disloyal. Point 1 explains that in family sometimes there are secrets, and if we malign our family members in public, then it is considered as a sign of disloyalty to the family. We should not open the family secrets to anyone who is outsider. Being a family member, it is our responsibility to be the honest family member. So we should not mock any other family member just for the sake of doing it. Third point explains that in offices, for instance, a chemical engineer may quietly sell the secret formula to a new product to a rival company for some quick extra money. So, being disloyal this way is not correct. Making extra money by doing something wrong is also not correct. Fourth point tells that a corrupt union leader may call for a strike of mill workers. Fifth point explains that cheating one's employer and working for someone is also not correct. So we should all be careful and we should all be ethical. We should build our understanding. First is, as a worker, we should follow all these points. As a worker, we should imbibe the good ethics. That is important as a next step. And if we have already imbibed the positive work habits, then it would automatically lead to the effective management of work. And whatever work we are doing, it will get automatically be done in a proper way. And these are the code of ethics. By following all these, we can be successful in our life. The first is we have to be regular and punctual at work and at home. The second point is do the task assigned to you. The third point is we should be polite, patient, courteous, and respectful to all. So, by following all these rules, we can learn good ethics. The fourth point explains that to acquire the knowledge and skills which are necessary to do the work assigned to you. These are all some important code of ethics. The fifth point which comes under this topic is we have to be prepared to learn more and update yourself. We should not keep ourselves limited that it is not our work area and we will not be able to do and we are not interested. Rather, we should be open to learn and open to update ourselves. The next point tells that we should find more and more efficient ways of getting your work done. You should take the challenge and improve yourself. The seventh point explains that you have to manage and apply your resources co-efficiently in an efficient manner. Do not waste any resources, whether it is home, at home, or whether it is at school. Also, we should follow all the rules, policies, and procedures of your work strictly and uniformly. Because that way, if we are following the rules, the other members will also follow the rules. Ninth point tells that do not indulge in favoritism and do not discriminate while doing your duty. That is everyone's equally. Treat everyone equally. The 10th point explains that we should have respect for all kind of work. Any work, whether it is lower or whether it is high profile, it is equal. We should respect every kind of work. We should not show any favoritism towards any work. 12th point explains that you have to be loyal to your work and to the organization to which you belong. Point 13 explains that we should expose corruption wherever we encounter them. And these are some points for raising ethical standards. The first is public disclosure and publicity. The next is preparation of a code of ethics. The third is teaching of ethics and values in schools and colleges. So these are 3 important points we will discuss. The first point we just seen explains the public disclosure and publicity. Unethical and corrupt workers should be held responsible for their actions. Such irresponsible people should be exposed or criticized and are suitably punished. This point is in continuation of the previous slide. For example, withdrawal of certain privileges and bringing their wrongdoings to the notice of the family members. We should withdraw some of the privileges given to them so that they understand that they should change our behavior, they should modify and act in a right way. What should be done, what should not be done, what would lead to the punishment, what would lead to the withdrawal. These are important ways that this way we can teach our children the right action method, how they should behave and how they should improve. So this way they can work towards their improvement. This is the second point, which is preparation of a code of ethics. It explains that a clear statement of the ethics in any situation and their implementation is vital. It can be written and displayed in office for the employees to apply and integrate them into their work. So any work we are doing, we should be regular, we should be punctual, we should complete our work on time. That is very important. That is considered as good code of ethics. And also at home, it can be reminded to children and teenagers by the elders and also by the media, TV, news, they watch regularly. Like working on mobile for long time, it can lead to pain in the neck. So such rules should be reminded quite often to the children. This is the third point. It explains the teaching of ethics and values in schools and colleges. As we know that ethics are learnt by the person on his own at an early stage of life, but through experience and informal guidance from others, they are generally developed. And however, teaching of moral values and ethics at school and at college in learning environment will help the learners to develop ethical habits and grow as disciplined citizens and build the nation. So that way, if everyone is following good code of ethics, then everyone would be disciplined, every citizen will lead to a developed country. So this is very important for a good nation building. So far we have understood the lesson. So we have to understand general ethics and the work ethics. You can see on screen there are some general ethics shown on the slide. For example, sincerity, self-respect, we should be respectful to self and the other. The third point explains the respect for the environment. And the fourth point explains the truthfulness as a general ethic. On the right side, you can see the work ethics. These are also 4. The first point under this work ethics explains the regularity. The second point under work ethics explains the punctuality for about doing the work on time. Third point is loyalty, being honest for the work. Fourth point is confidentiality, to keep the secret to the self only. So these are all the general ethics and some are work ethics. So we should be aware that these are 2 separate ethics. So far we have understood the lesson. Hope you will understand the ethics and the detailed explanation which is shown in the video. There are some work ethics, there are some general ethics. Thank you.